Hey, it's me, MLB, back with Chapter 6 of Be With Me. This one's titled Best of Friends. Your mum noticed you holding hands and swooned quietly to herself as you and Eijirou stared lovingly into each other's eyes. She cleared her throat. Eijirou, please stay for dinner. We'd love your company. Oh, please stay, Sharky, you pleaded. I would really like that, Miss Lynn, if it's not too much trouble, he asked politely. Oh my, your beautiful manners are welcome any time, your mum beamed. Please make yourself at home while I prepare a special dinner. My Icky and Sharky are back together. She clapped her hands in delight and hummed happily. You squeezed Eijirou's hand and smiled at him. Hey, come to my room. We can chill there while Mum makes dinner, you said, pulling him along. Your mum watched you both head up the stairs and smiled to herself. They are already so in love and they don't even know it, she chuckled softly to herself, shaking her head as she made her way back to the kitchen. Sharky, you laughed hysterically. This picture's hilarious. What happened here? You pointed to your phone screen. You and Eijirou were lying side by side on your bed, scrolling through each other's Instagram and liking all the pictures from over the years. You shared stories and funny moments from your lives apart and relived memories from that year that you'd spent together as 4-year-olds. You flicked through a few more pictures and saw one where Eijirou had decided to dye his hair. Your thumb hovered over it for a minute before you spoke. Hey, I've been meaning to ask you. You turned your head to look at him, and he was already looking at you, his eyes soft with affection. Your noses nearly touched, but neither of you cared. Why did you dye your hair? Why didn't you leave it black? You asked, your breath tickling his lips. He gently reached a hand to your face and brushed a stray hair from your eyes, tucking it behind your ear. Yin, do you remember that day that you got attacked by those dogs and I ran away? You ran to get help, you mean, you corrected him. No, I ran away. I was a coward, he said, his voice low and angry at his own selfish actions. He propped himself up on an elbow and looked down at you as you lay there. I was so disgusted at myself for not having saved you. It haunted me for months, no, years afterwards, he spat. How could I ever become a hero if I was so spineless? His hands balled into fists and he gritted his teeth, reliving the memory. So I decided I would make a change. No more weak and pathetic me. I would be a new person, strong, courageous, manly, like Crimson Riot. He looked up with sparkly eyes. I would pick a bright colour to paint the future me. So I picked red, he said, looking back down at you. You smiled softly and reached a hand up to caress his cheek. Sharky, you've always been my hero, even to this day. I've only ever remembered you as a strong and courageous boy. He closed his eyes and nuzzled into your warm palm. You'll make an amazing hero, you whispered, and I can't wait to watch you make it to your goal. He opened his eyes and looked down at you again. Yin, he said softly. A sharp knock at the door interrupted your session of loving affirmation and he jumped violently. You took your hand from his cheek and sat up quickly, bumping your head into his with a loud thud. Oof! You grunted, then dissolved into giggles. Everything okay in here? Your mum asked, popping her head through the door. Eijirou was half hovering over you with one arm wrapped around your back to support you as you'd half sat up, and your mum stifled a squeak at the compromised position that you two seemed to be in. We're fine, Miss Lynn, Eijirou replied, looking over at her and smiling. We'll be down in a second. Your mum smiled and pulled her head back, heading back down to the dining room. You okay? He asked with a light chuckle. Yeah, I'm fine, you replied, rubbing your forehead. Here, let me make it better, he said, leaning in and kissing you on the forehead. You were a little surprised to have him kiss you like that, but you loved that he cared and smiled brightly. Thanks, Sharky. I feel much better now. Come on, he said playfully, hopping off your bed. Let's go have dinner. He reached a hand out to you and helped you off the bed, and you held his hand all the way down to the dining room. Later that night, when Eijirou finally went home, you two were texting and chatting when he asked to call you. You agreed and chatted until 3 a.m., Icky! Look at the time, he suddenly said. We have school tomorrow. Oh, true, you're right. Hey, better get going. You paused. Want to go, you pouted. You heard him giggle through the phone. Neither do I, but it's so late. We can talk tomorrow. You smiled. Okay, tomorrow. Bye, Icky. Bye, Sharky. You pressed end call and looked at the call duration. 5 hours? You'd just spoken to Eijirou for 5 hours straight with no awkward silences or breaks. It was just so natural with him. He was indeed your best friend. You smiled and hugged your phone to your chest, falling asleep almost instantly. You didn't even feel tired the next morning and texted him the minute you woke up. A reply came back straight away. Did you sleep well? He asked. Like a rock. An Eijirou rock, you sent back, making a joke about his quirk. Lol, he replied. Are you tired? His next message asked. No, actually, I think I'm just super excited to have you back again. It's like giving me heaps of energy, he sent back honestly. Same here, to be honest. You're constantly on my mind. You smiled. You're my best friend, Sharky. You tapped into your phone. You're mine too, Icky, came back the reply. See you at school. And that's the end of chapter 6. Stay tuned for chapter 7.